Well, a very good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Lakeside, where a familiar face rejoins us. Yes, Sophie McKinlay, the women's finalist, who'll take on either Bo Greaves or Dita Hedman, has other business to attend to. It's amazing how quickly priorities can change. Only a couple of months ago, this will have been the full focus of Sophie the Trophy, the 18-year-old who has dazzled us all week. She has won 4 games in the women's tournament and is now a finalist, and she is looking to become the first ever double winner of the women's and girls tournament. She has been cool as a cucumber. Every game she has stepped up, and even today when she faced Lorena Rietbergen, probably as the favourite, probably with pressure on her shoulders, she managed to come through the test. But Aurora Fochesato, the 18-year-old Italian, knows what it takes to win on the Lakeside stage. Beat Christina Turai of Hungary last year. She is looking to defend the title, and that would make it 2 from 3, with Eleanor Cairns winning the first one back in 2022. Lorraine Winstanley, you have been so enthralled by Sophie's runs this week. Is there going to be a different complexion to this now she's playing back in the girls as the big favourite?
I think Sophie just has to focus and look at this for what it is, because she's made the final of the women's now. This is almost starting again. This is a different tournament, but obviously same venue, same stage, and hopefully she will be able to keep her focus and do what she needs to do.
Aurora, a very strong player in her own right, looking to maybe be a flag bearer for Italian darts. Not a nation we really associate with many good players coming through. They are starting to chip away. We've got the likes of Michele Torretta playing Pro Tour. They've had some good runs in the World Cup. But Fochesato could be a very unique figure in the sport.
81.
We've met 3 times before, as recently as the World Open, the same weekend where McKinlay qualified for the women's. It was McKinlay who won that 4-3.
Sophie will have gone through a whole range of emotions today as well, for gearing up for that so important women's semi-final. Having the elation of winning, knowing that she's into the final, she's got to gather herself, let the adrenaline go, try and pump it back up again coming into this game. So, to be fair, Sophie's got a real task on her hands, just controlling her emotions and how she feels about the way she's going to approach this game.
Over-adjusted with the first dart, so Aurora will have a first look at a checkout. Probably should go the 15s. Could go 25 if she's feeling brave. Very brave.
60.
Confident start.
She's a very confident player. She's been playing about 5 years, Aurora has. She started playing when she was 13 years old.
And it's Sophie who started stronger by virtue of winning the bullseye in the back room. She strikes first.
60.
I suppose the only danger from Sophie's point of view is the fact she's played so much darts this week. There's always that lingering threat of burnout.
Yes.
61.
She is a big practicer though, so she's used to throwing darts every day. Obviously not under these kind of circumstances or this kind of pressure, but it's not like she just practices a couple of times a week. So you know, she's continuing with that process of throwing darts every day.
85.
A bit like Sophie, Aurora, despite only being 18, is playing lots of senior women's darts, building experience via those routes.
She is. We've seen her on the women's series several times. Yet to see Sophie, but I think it may be in her plans for this coming year. Now she's not able to play on the WDF Youth Tour.
You could say that Aurora was literally hours away from not qualifying for this because she was born on New Year's Day.
Yes.
Had that come a day earlier, she'd have been too old. The cut-off point being January the 1st. Well, better safe than sorry, but McKinlay won't be happy with that.
She won't, but she will return.
Aurora's 61
having
left.
a think.
Should have given herself 2 chances. So should Aurora.
She could have left that much handier than she did. Maybe she just had a bit of brain fog as to what to go for and just thought, big and odd.
It can happen.
I would think Aurora will go straight for this. Maybe she should have gone straight for it.
Trying to split those low numbers is always perilous as Sophie McKinlay swoops in to take the second leg.
I think splitting finishes is dangerous because you've got that extra tension that you need to hit the big number. We've seen so many times it's so difficult to hit that big number. All the doubles are the same size. We all have our favourites, but they're all the same size, so why not go for it? And they're bigger than the treble.
You can see from the side on, it's a lovely textbook throw that Aurora's got.
She's got a beautiful throwing action.
And I must admit, compared to when I saw her last year, it doesn't seem to be quite as high and low and loopy. It's a lot more straight back and forward.
Yes, I think she must have been working on that, and the follow through on the flick of the wrist.
27.
She is a little Anastasia-like. Very graceful, but that snap of the wrist at the end.
38.
Winner of this to play Paige Pauling in tomorrow's final. After she beat the Belgian hopeful Jentel Fransen 2-0, sealing it with a magnificent 157 checkout.
Won't be the last that we see of Jentel. Had a little chat with her after the game and she was okay, obviously gutted, but she did so well to qualify, to come through those qualifiers. I'm sure we'll be seeing her on this stage again in the future.
81.
Yeah, she was the youngest of the 4 girls participants. Belgium has got one last hopeful in the form of 13-year-old Lex Peishauser, who looks more like an under 9. He's a very young-looking 13-year-old. He's up against Archie Self, who's only 15 in the boys. Then we've got the return of Bo Greaves against Dieter Hedman. And closing off the show, Jason Brandon against a fella you might have heard of, Paul Lim.
The legend, Paul Lim. Going back to the boys' draw, it was funny how it worked out. I was holding my breath then. It's funny how it worked out that the older two boys played each other and we've got the younger two boys playing each other.
Double top for Aurora Fochesato. She gets her first leg.
She'll be happier now she's got a leg on the board. And it was a break of throw.
It was a real dogfight that Aurora was locked into on stage last year against Christina Tarai. Both players clearly very nervous playing that final. They didn't have a semi-final to warm up for it. This is a newly expanded girls tournament.
It was a bit of a baptism of fire for them, to be on the biggest stage in the biggest game of their life. And I'm not saying that the semi-finals are warm-up, but, it's all or nothing. It's do or die, isn't it? Sophie's stolen the control of this leg.
All the darts have been kept nice and straight.
45, 161.
Should have been looking for more, but there's plenty of time.
No finish now possible, even if she'd have found the treble last dart in hand. Couple of slips means it's an awkward 99 finish. She'll return for. Didn't consider going two tops.
No, I think I possibly would have done. Knowing the calibre of Aurora, she's more than capable on a day of taking out a big finish.
60.
It's all about how you feel, though, when you're letting those darts go.
14 dragged into the 11. Are we watching a rerun?
This afternoon's session, we saw quite a few of those from several different players, didn't we? 14 was causing some issues.
Has to be treble 19. Well, fair enough. It could have been treble 15 for Bull.
Tops for the set. And she finds it.
Yeah, confident start from Sophie McKinlay. There is a break after this set, so Sophie can go off knowing she's 1-0 up. She's held the darts in her own set. And Aurora Fochesato has got some thinking to do. It is Sophie McKinlay 1, Aurora Fochesato 0.
Welcome back to Lakeside, welcome back to the WDF World Championships. We're in the middle of the girls' semi-final. 1-0, but I know Aurora can play better than that.
She can play so much better than that. I think both players, to be honest, are having flurries of really strong scoring and then a bit of a flurry of a few slack darts. So they're nervous. They're nervous.
Well, Sophie shouldn't be nervous. She's been up there, was it 5 times already today?
But this is the first round of the next tournament, and if that's the way she's thinking, she will not want to go out at this stage knowing she's in the final of the Women's World Championships. There's a whole mental game going on there. There's got to be.
All of darts is mental gymnastics, if you ask me. I also think that even though Sophie's 1-0 up, she has been a little bit lucky that Aurora's not found her form, because Sophie's had one out of the board and missed the fat number as well.
Yes, absolutely. We know Aurora can play better than this, and I think it'd be interesting to see Aurora apply a bit more pressure, but potentially potentially 2 sets left, so...
I was talking earlier about the fact that Sophie is in the Girls' World Championships and she's in the Ladies' World Championships.
Yes.
Can you explain to us how she qualifies for both?
Yes, of course. So the WDF system have the youth rankings, and this is the first year that this has happened, that they've actually, because of the expanded field of 4 girls and 8 boys, they're now using the top 2 girls off the world rankings as your seed number 1 and number 2. And then the boys, the top 4, are seeded 1 to 4.
Yep.
And then there's 4 qualifiers come from the boys and 2 qualifiers from the girls. Sophie was seeded number 2. So to play in the women's, she played in the women's qualifier and got through that way. She's made a bit of history.
Oh, good for her. I don't think I understood that. It's time to take you back to the stage for the conclusion of this match.
Well, I thought it was a fantastic explanation from you, Lorraine. Sophie McKinlay has made a habit of winning at Lakeside this week, and she is looking to secure her place in another final. As you can see, Aurora Fochesato chose to use the break to tie her hair up. Maybe it was getting in the way of the backswing, who knows? She's got the darts in this second set, but Sophie, whose facial expressions barely change, I would not fancy my chances in a game of poker against her. Aurora has got to come out swinging now. She missed a couple of opportunities. She could have won that first set, had darts at a double in the first 3 legs, but it's Sophie who just about held her nerve together. And she's getting to the stage, Lorraine, now where winning is customary for her on this stage. Why should she be fearful?
I've just said, with Helen, we were just talking about that. This is the first round of the other tournament. She doesn't want to go out here knowing that she's got the Women's World Championship final to play. So there is likely to be a bit of nerves here. Touching on Aurora's hair. It's hot up there. I reckon she's tied it up to help her feel a bit cooler.
Knowing Sophie as you do, as an outsider, you could look at the situation she's in and think, well, she's made the women's final. That's entirely her priority, and this is almost a bonus. Will she be taking this lightly? I think I might know the answer to this.
No, she won't be taking this lightly because she's worked all year for this. She got into the women's through the qualifier. She wasn't expecting to be in the women's, although having said that, because of the women's tournaments that she's played all year, she wasn't too far off the qualifying criteria through the ranking system anyway. But to ensure her place here, she played in the qualifiers, but she has known that this one is her priority. The women's one is a bonus.
It would be a magical story if it were to happen. Aurora has made a strong start after the break. Looking at double 18. Double 9. No, she chooses to split. Not someone who plays the percentages, clearly. Although 1-4-1, it's a difficult checkout. Certainly
It is. But
she's in bravery.
She's playing the women's finalist. I wouldn't give her anything. They were well thrown darts, just slightly left of the target. Here's Sophie for double 12, and she pins it.
It's an excellent leg, and that will feel a bit of a steal. I wouldn't be surprised if Aurora felt a bit disheartened after that.
Yeah, because Aurora's scoring in that leg was superb. and then it just all got a bit messy down towards the end.
As mentioned in the first set, she's developed a lot of experience at a young age, playing the women's series in the PDC as well as all the WDF system. Clearly loves the sport.
She's making that transition into playing the women's tournaments easier. By overlapping the two, it makes that transition so much smoother. If she just concentrated on the youth tournaments, and then clearly she's getting to the point where she's going to be too old for them, it's such a big jump then going, right, I'm going to play in the women's now.
Maybe it was written in the stars that she was destined to be a darter. You can't spell Fochesato without Oki, which is something I did work out during the break.
I'm impressed. I can't say it, and I'm not even going to attempt it, so.
What, Oki?
Cheeky.
Might look at the 17s here. Should have looked at the 17s.
So frustrating because she stood back and thought about it. She didn't ask. You are allowed to ask the referee if you're not sure what's left. We all have brain fog when we're stood on the oki occasionally. They're not allowed to tell you which way to go, but they can tell you what you've got left. And if worst case scenario, if you need to knock off an odd number, you just throw at something odd, you know, if you genuinely don't know. But we're looking at the girls' world champion here. That was bad calculating, really.
Looking to take the darts back. And if you do need to ask, you shouldn't feel embarrassed. That's one of the functions of the referee. They're not just there to call the scores.
Of course. Sometimes by asking, it just buys you a couple of seconds to just gather yourself again as well. You know, if it's awful if you don't know because you panic.
Well, this game is slipping away from Aurora.
She gets another go. She's having a little giggle to herself, but maybe that's what she needed to do, smile at it.
Family have made the journey over from Italy. Strong response.
Another good score there just to increase her lead. I asked Aurora who her favourite player was, and she said her dad, because she's learned so much from him. And I thought, what a beautiful answer.
And then did you say, what about Paul Lim?
I missed a trick. Maybe I should have done. Have you met Paul Lim? Here comes Sophie with one of those pressure shots. We've seen that from Sophie in so many legs where she has been trailing Her timing has been great.
Generally, I think Aurora's scored better, but it's the approach play that the approach play has been sloppy, and then on the doubles, she's missed way too many opportunities. Only 2 from 11 so far.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Seen that a few times today, the accidental tops.
Great setup. Puts the pressure on this double 10 for Aurora. She can work in off that. Over adjusts. Back comes Sophie. I think double 10 is Sophie's favourite double.
I was just about to make the point that there have been many pressure shots this week where she's nailed double 10.
Yeah.
She's got inside on tops, and then you might start to get nervous. No nerves there.
When you are a tops lever, I don't understand why people split the double 5, because it's right next door. You know, if you're chasing around the board, I never fear leaving, well, any double, it's a bonus if you get to the double, but I don't mind double 5. I don't actually mind double 1, because it's right in the line of, you know, you've got tops sitting there. So I wouldn't waste a dart trying to leave it better to still potentially end up on double 1 in my case.
It always amazes me when you hear about players who don't like tops, when you consider that for the majority of the game, you're aiming only a few inches south.
Yeah.
But every player has their preferences, their quirks.
Yeah, and every player works things out differently. My counting isn't very good. My memory is not very good, but I work out my finishing from memory. So there are certain finishes I will go certain ways. So when I approach the hockey, I know what it leaves me if I hit the treble. I know what it leaves me if I hit the single. But I know where I'm going, and it may be, you know, using the 18s to leave 32, but the next time, you know, on a different finish, I might use the 20s to leave 36. You know, so I have my set ways of going for certain finishes, but I've had to do that because my counting isn't great.
It's all about patterns rather than raw,
Yes.
raw mathematics.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Oh, that's plum.
Couldn't put that any more central. What a finish.
That is a place in the girls' final for Sophie McKinlay. I hope she's got plenty of energy because she's going to need it tomorrow. 2 finals for the trophy. Who's looking to pick up a double at Lakeside. What a week she's had. The defending champion knocked out in the semi-finals.